For those who don't know me, I've been producing since 2012 under the name Diskurz. Heavy dubstep, mostly heavy rhythm, kind of. And I've released an EP on Baseweight Records a few months ago with 4 tracks, and today I'm gonna show 2 tracks of the EP, which are Sequence, the main track of the EP, and also my second favorite, which is Encode, which is like probably the second most popular solo songs of my EP. So here is Sequence. I'll let you have a listen to it. Let me know if you want to talk about something later, or if you have anything you wanted to see on the project. So here we go.
Sequence.
All right. So that's it. That's pretty much it. So yeah, so here is basically how I make my tracks. Most of the time I always have different kind of groups, which is like something basic that I think everyone should do to be more like to be more organized and have a better mix down, you know. So have like a group which you can call anything you want. Like I call it synths because it's like basically all my synths that are really charged in the mid frequencies, you know. So it's like most of them are like after 200 frequencies, you know, and before that amount there is not much happening. So I know that this group is for the synths. I have the mid basses, which is like all my sound designs, you know, all my basses, my group basses. I have like a lot of layer here that I use. Like I have this one, this one too, and when you combine all three, it does this. Oh, just gonna also have this one. I like to work with layers on my songs a lot. I'm not saying this is always the way to go, because I feel like the less layer you have, the better mix down you will have. But yeah, I like to add like layer that brings a little bit to the main sound in different frequencies. Like for example, this one, it kind of like makes some kind of melody thing. I used FM8 to make those. I have those here. Yeah, so for example, this one, which is this one, but in reverse. It was, yeah, so this is pretty much how I made it. There you go. So for those who don't know FM8, this is I know this is not the most beautiful synth to work with, but it's very effective. It's just like an FM synthesizers with different oscillators that are named A, B, C, D, A, F right here, and you can choose like basic waveform between all those. And basically I have like the first oscillator, which is the F right here, which is just like a basic sign, which you can't really hear because it's like at a ratio at 0.03, which is like it's hard to explain, but like the waveform is at a ratio of 0.03, you know. So it's like, if I put, it's like comparable to octaves, you know, one, it's like octaves, I don't think. And then I bring like the E on FM on the F right here, which sounds like this, which is like just another sign too. And then I bring another kind of ramp, so invert, which gives this kind of synth. The cool thing is right here, in fact, because if I didn't put this one at 0.03, it would sound like this. So a bit more classical, but by FM those into the F, which is at 0.03, it creates some kind of like detune, which is kind of hard to explain, you know. It's just like the waveform is gonna have a different ratio by, you know, FM on this one. then I just like continue to add other oscillators on FM, like this one I saw, which is like the ratio here is like the octaves, you know, it's just the pitch of the oscillator, which is 14, which is a bit more high, so we'll have more higher harmonics that will come now. And then that's basically how I built every sound I make, you know. I start with the bass here, and then I FM the one into another, but you know, it's the cool, like the difficult part of this is to really go slowly on the amount of FM that you put in, because it will drastically change the sound if you FM it too much, like this, for example. So like just changing this parameter by just one, it will really affect the sound. So you have to really be careful on those, and you know, it's a bit tough to find like the good ratio, the good amount, but you have to try things, because this is the cool thing about FM8. It's like there's so much different kind of sounds you can have by just like changing a bit those parameters right here. Then I just added another one, which is a B, which is another waveform here. See, all the waveforms are not really complicated. It's really basic waveforms, but the more you add, the more you will have a complex sounds, you know. And then the other one. So yeah, this one goes in FM on this one goes on this one goes on this one. It's like, it's, you know, I like it. It's really funny, you know. And I had just added a little bit of effects, but it's really small, you know. A little bit of phaser, a little bit of chorus right here. On the processing, I didn't globally on each sound of these tracks. Most of my processing is done by adding OTT and EQ after and sometimes before to the OTT. I like to use this plugin too, which is a free plugin by Ozone, which is gonna like give more space to the sounds, you know. More stereo. I also like to use the vocoder, but like with a small depth, to just to give some kind of texture, like if you can hear it maybe. You know, it's just gonna like envelop the sound and give it some kind of like wet texture, kind of clean. So I just like put the depth between like 0 and 30, sometimes 50, sometimes more. It depends on what I want to do. The bends 40, range 18 and 20 here, just like this. And the release, it depends on how I want the sounds to be. Then I added an utility just to bring the volume up, because it will really reduce the volume. I could just have done it here by just increase the volume here. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this one, you know. Yeah, and nothing else really to show. So yeah, for the processing, this is pretty much what I did. And after that, I like to really resample the sound. So I would like just create a audio track and just like freeze it. Sometimes I freeze the MIDI, or I just like record it. So let's freeze that. Yep, and then we have the audio right here, and then you can play as much as you want, add more processing, more saturation, maybe more distortion, depends on what you want. I would really recommend you guys to use distortion and saturation, as this is something I didn't use that much back in the days, but now I think it does help your mixdown getting louder and clean and better, to add saturation. Just for example, for those that are on Ableton 2, like just the saturator, the basic plugin, you know, it can really gives you a lot of more power by just bringing to like 10 and just you know, just a bit of saturation. And I like to use trash sometimes for those who don't have it. Yeah, this plugin is really cool too. You can multi-band distortion. It's amazing. There you go. So yeah, when I have the audio, I like to really like cut it and try things, reverse. I like to sometimes warp it and just stretch it like this in texture mode, flux 0, and you tweak the grain size to have different kind of harmonics. It gives some kind of robotic texture that I really like, but you gotta be careful with that because it can damage your mono signal. That's why I recommend when you produce, guys, to like put an utility before the master and just put it to mono. That way you will see how your track sounds in mono, because sometimes you don't realize that even if it sounds good and if it's stereo or whatever, sometimes in mono it will not sound great, or you will have like different, like several kind of surprises, you know. So yeah, so let's go with like another sound maybe. So like this is the main kind of bass I've used on that one, always on FM8. Pretty much everything I made here are on FM8, like all the basses and some synths. So yeah, you know, this one is a bit less complicated. It's just basically 1, 2, 3, 4 oscillator that are playing. You know, you can like really, you can probably easily have the same kind of results with any other plugins that can have 4 oscillator between that can FN between them, you know, because it's basically like basic waveforms that I just FM between them. So here I did the same thing as the other synths here. I have like a sine at a really low ratio that here I have the E oscillator going on FM on the F, which creates some kind of bass. I'm gonna like put everything up. Yeah, and then like as always, you know, it's the same principle. Like it's the same like bass. You have like the lowest oscillator as the bass, and then you take a highest oscillator here at 14 ratio to FM into the lowest, which are like your bass, you know, which will create some kind of harmonics, and after that you give even more harmonics with more FM and more oscillator. So the sound is pretty weak, and that's why we're gonna use the OTT. On this one I have 2 OTT. I feel like the more you can add OTT without sounding trash, the more your sound will be. In fact, like the bass sound that you have from the synth, it's good to have it like with a really low volume, and then after that you can really bring all the harmonics up by doing a lot of distortion and compression on it, like so. So yeah, on the effects I have like the same thing. This one is not using, just a little phaser. I added a vocoder, OTT. This one is not using OTT again. Trash with just like basic clip control right here. EQ. When I add EQ on my basses, I like to cut them at around 100 Hertz, something like that, with a really hard like Q, like a really hard, you know, this. And yeah, basically I did this, and there isn't a lot of EQ work. I never really like, maybe this is something I should do more, but I never really like add EQ to add frequencies like you could do, you know, just like doing isolation and all that. I try to really perfect my sound at the bass, so I won't have to process it a lot, you know. So yeah, it's just basically removing frequencies that you don't like, and compressing, distortion. So yeah, this is, so you know, after that you have your audio, you can like just basically, when I do a lot of experimentation, I freeze, you know, all the MIDIs, and I can, for those who don't know, you can, you know, find the MIDIs right here, the frozen tracks right here. Everything that you've frozen, it's right here, and you just have to drag it up and, you know, try different combination, different layers. This is basically how I do. You know, I try to create different kinds of sound design. Then I freeze the tracks, and then I can have it here and, you know, cut it and try a lot of things. So here we go. What else do we got? Yeah, we also have this one, which was this one right here. Again, this was made on FM8. You know, for this one, so we have a triangle this time, not a saw at the base. But yeah, just so you know, I will always use like either a sine or a triangle or a parabol, but not like complicated waveform like this at the base here. Then I will add this one, which is also a sine, which is basically pretty much the same thing as the other sounds for the two oscillators here, but the bass is with just a triangle. Then another one for more harmonics. So this one is like a short triangle that I go FM on the F and also on the filter curve, which is right here. This one is a saturator integrated in the plugin. This one, so it's some kind of waveform that that go on FM on the E right here, and the last one, which is some kind of square, which goes on the D right here, and we have this. I have like this little phaser effect that you can hear, which is pretty cool, you know, and some kind of chorus too. Yeah, so nothing more really, it's just FM between those, and then a lot of OTT, again 2 OTT, vocoder, utility, same thing that as always do. Just vocoder to give like this kind of texture that I like. I don't know if you can make the difference. It's a bit like right here. Yeah, so that's it. Oh, you know, OTT again, and then I cut the frequencies, and then I freeze, and I edit the track, and I put it here. Okay, let's talk maybe about, I don't know, the synths that I did right here. So yeah, this one was like a main synth of the track, which was also made on FM8. But you know, it's like, it's really nothing complicated, just a saw, you know, with a lot of overdrive, which sounds like this. I have like a low pass going on somewhere. Yes. So without the overdrive and with the overdrive. This reverb is not even functional. Yeah, so yeah, that's just a saw with this envelope that I use to make also this one. It's just the same but an octave lower, like this. For the processing, I use the vocoder, a little bit of chorus. No, I don't even use it. I tried it, but I didn't use it. Some reverb, utility just to bring more volume, and then an OTT again. After that I cut. I even use OTTs on this synth. I use OTT all the time. And yeah, this one is like it's a resampling of a synth that is really stretched. It's basically, you know, like, I think I've made something like this. For example, let's say I want this synth right here. So like, let's just stop the automation for the moment and just freeze it. Again, let me know if you have anything you wanna see in particular, if you have any questions, or, you know, I'm here for you guys, so let me know.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
And yes, all right, okay, so, you know, I have the, and what I like to do, as I did right here, but you can see it because it's been resampled and frozen again, but, you know, I take the melody and I stretch the fuck out of it like this, and then you have some, it's some kind of pad that you can add to your tracks. From, it's a simple way, I would say, to make pads from, you know, basic synths from the same thing by just stretching a lot. Always in texture mode. Well, you can try other mods, but the bits would not be appropriated. Oh well, yes, you can still do some things, but, you know, I like to use the texture and just tweak it like this. This is something I like to do a lot with all my synths, my basses, you know, stretch it and use the texture mode and tweak the grain size right here, then reverse and, you know, pitch too, like this. Yeah, so this is it. What do we got here next? Let's. Those are all resampling. This is. I'm gonna show you guys if you don't know about it. This is a synth that I like to use a lot. It's UV Workstation, and it's the digital sensation, and there is different kind of instruments here. So I like to use their bells here. I don't know if I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't remember which one I use on this one. But you know, one of them for sure. So yeah, it's a good synth. If you guys don't know, it's cool to have like different like basic elements to add on your track, different bells. I use mostly bells, and yeah, that's pretty much the one I use the most. Sometimes I use some leads, but I try to create everything on FM8 as much as I can. So yeah, this is it for this one. What can I show you next? Yeah, the little basses that are here. Yes. So for those bass, I'm gonna try to find the plugin again. It was on FM8 too. I think it was where was it? Yeah, one of these, I think. It's like I was looking to make an intro with like some kind of heavy sound, but just let it as an intro, you know, and not a drop. And that's why like it's like an intro with heavy sounds, you know. Yeah, but that's not that one. Yeah, it's this one right here. So this is the one you used. Oh, I'm just gonna. Yeah, as always, I would just like once the synth is done, I would just add OTT and then EQ, basically. Okay, let's see a bit the comments here. I didn't see your comments, guys. Yeah, I use frequency shifter too. I use mostly FM8. I don't really use Serum anymore. Yeah, I've been using FM8 since like probably like I don't know. It's been like a year now, maybe 2 years, and yeah. Yeah, dude, Nick Taylor. I wish we could also automate the grain size on the samples resample. Yeah, I wish to. Honestly, it would be great. But there is a plugin that will also give you a lot of like different kind of textures when you want to stretch and granularize. The name is Portal. I don't know if you guys have it real quick. But this holy shit, yeah, this shit right here is a big granulizer, and you can do pretty much a bunch of stuff out of it. So if you guys want to experiment anything about stretch or granulize, I would recommend using that sound too. So yeah, just because we are running out of time, just with the drum real quick, this is pretty much how I make the drums. So I have like a drum rack right here with different samples. It's kind of messy, I gotta say, but basically there isn't anything complicated. I didn't do a lot of work on the drum. I did a lot of work on the kick. This is a kick that I made using a plugin that is, you guys probably know about it. That is Kick 2 from Sonic right here. And there you go. Yeah, this super cool plugin to make kicks. I love it so much. Yeah, like different kind of samples you can you can add, which will make your click on the kick. You know, click 1, click 2. It's just samples that you can drag, you can choose out of it. Yeah, this is sick and super powerful. You can also see your pitch of the kick when you make it, you know, and choose like how the pitch goes, and like it's so sick. So I would recommend having this plugin too, guys. So yeah, I made the kick out of that. Have it here. I just added a little bit of multiband compression to reduce the bass. Right here. Those are different claps that I use from different sample packs. Right here, layers. I only have 2 claps and another hat here and another crash, which is right here, which I did some kind of processing on that one. Really, you cut a lot of frequencies, add an OTT, and then cut frequencies, which will make this kind of, you know, I feel like it really changed a lot the sound and brighten it way more. So yeah, OTT, even on the crash OTT, you know, always OTT, that's the secret, my dudes, that's OTT. And yeah, so that's pretty much what I did. There isn't much work more on the group. I have not much. I have like an auto filter, that's it. But I could maybe add some saturation. I would recommend you guys to add a little bit of saturation, or maybe a little bit of compression, but not too much on the drums. It can be good sometimes, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Drum rack using 2 is cool. For the FX, right here real quick, there is different samples I took from different sample packs. There is also a fix that I've made, like this one, which is from Massive. I don't know if I have the Massive right here. No, it's basically like you know, noises from the Massive plugin. Like, even after all this time, I still use Massive because I was using it a lot like 5 years ago. So I really know well this plugin, so I'm really comfortable using it. I like to use it sometimes to make simple things, just like, for example, the sub. I think I did it on Massive too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, for the sub, it's just like a basic. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff going on, but there isn't. It's not like the macro. We don't care about the macro. It's just basically one sign. That's it. It's just a sign, and I add a filter, which by just adding a filter like this and the resonance like this, it will give an harmonic, as you can see right here. Pay attention. More like this right here, like, you know, and then a sine shaper, but no, those are not using, those are just a sign on the side right here. Yeah, so to get back on the noise FX, like this, you know, on Massive you have like those noise that can be really cool to make FX and all kind of stuff. Pretty much like Serum has it too, you know, it's pretty much the same. And I think I use this. Yeah, it's just this. Yeah, it was this, with like another layer probably or something like that. What we have going on here, it's just a sample of a clap reverb pitch at 6 to give like some kind of big reverb effects thing. Hub verb. Okay, no, this is not it. And what do I have next? I don't have much going on. Oh yeah, yeah, those are like noises that I made, like from different, like for example, I also use Massive on that one. I use the basic noise here, white noise with a filter. And you know, you just like automate the filter with a macro, just like this one, and you try to find the good, like the good setting on your all right. So yeah, we're pretty much at 40 minutes on that one, guys. But I think we've seen pretty much everything that is important, I would say. I don't have anything else really that is important, you know. Like, just a quick tip that I like to use when I use samples from sample packs, because I don't really like to just drag and drop the samples. I like to like use a sample, but to make it sounds like another samples. Like for example, this one, this is how it sounds, and I just did a huge pitch up, which allow you to not recognize the sample. So you know, it's I just did a huge pitch up, and just doing pitching up like this, I think it can be good to explore and make new sounds, you know, try to look for new things. On the master, I have nothing else but this thing, which is a VST, a free VST plugin, Clipmax. You know, it's a free VST plugin. It's just this, and this is just, you know, to cut all the side frequencies that are annoying to me. Most of it before 100 Hz. So this is I just did that, you know. And as you can see, my pre-master is running low in volume. I don't have anything clipping. It's low, you know, it's not clipping. And that way I can have a good headroom and push it the fuck out like this, you know. So yeah, this is pretty much it for this one. So now let's drop on the other one. Which is Nemesis, and we're gonna listen to all of it, which is from my Bassweight EP2. Yep. Sorry, my mic was out. I was saying that I'm gonna show the second part of the drop. Yeah, so the cool thing, yeah, there is no vocal audio on this one. The cool thing here is that in fact the first part of the drop was made with Serum and the second part mostly with FM8. And I said that I don't use Serum, and it's pretty much true now. I don't use it now because I gotta say this track, I've made it a while back ago, like maybe it's not that far, but like a couple of months ago, and that was pretty much like the last time I used Serum on that one, so I don't use it really anymore. But yeah, so so you wanted maybe to see like the second part of the drop. So again, it's a lot of resampling, you know, it's pretty much all in audio. Back in the days in my old computer, I had no choice but resampling the sounds from the plugins, because my CPU would be fucked, and because my computer was 8 giga and it wasn't enough. My new one is 32, so I'm really more comfortable. It really makes the difference. So yeah, I had no choice but to freeze the tracks and have them in audio, and sometimes I lost some MIDI that I did because I didn't save the presets, so that sucks a bit for that. But for those, I am sure I have like some presets I can find again. So this one, for example, yeah, this one is a good one. Oh yeah, but see, fuck. Okay, I'm gonna try to find it again. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna make a MIDI tech. Was in the key is D. Yes. There you go. I think it was, yeah, it was one of these, I think. Not this one. Which one was it? Yeah, it was those three that I used. Yeah, this one. Here we go. I prefer FM8 over Serum because yes, there's more asks, but it's not because there is more ask that you can do something better. It's just a different way of working. For example, FM8, you will have good result by not necessarily trying to FM a lot of oscillators, and that's why there is only 3 oscillators. It's because, you know, that's what's all about. In FM8, you have to experiment in waveform more, and, you know, try to edit the waveform, and, you know, try to find different waveforms that are created, or add more harmonics on the waveform itself. It's more about the waveform than the FM, like. And on FM8, it's like, I feel like there is a bit of parameters that you don't really control on Serum that you can more control on FM8. And by parameters, I mean more like texture. You know, I'm sure that you can have the same results with FM8 or Serum, but it's just another way to do it. I feel like I'm more in control on FM8, and even if it's more difficult, I feel like I really created the sound from bottom to end, you know, because as you can see, it's just basic oscillator. going FM between each other, and it's not just choosing the waveform and tweaking the wavetable position and see how it sounds, like you can do on Serum, for example. So it's just personal. I prefer the way FM8 works, so yeah, it was this risk. As you can see, there's a lot of processing to do on that one. We're gonna have to add a vocoder, like I like to do. So I changed the default preset to depth to 0, a little bit of release, and OTT again, a little bit of, and just by doing this, we have something pretty similar. And I think it is possible, if you guys wanna use FM8, it is actually possible to parameter the amount of FM that you use between the oscillator. So to do that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create macros. So you have to group everything together, basically, well, just FM8, and then you can just click, like for example here, edit macro map, and then if I move this, boom, right here, you can then automate here on the macro one, and that's where it's starting to be interesting, honestly, because you can even do a bunch more of possibilities by controlling this. Boom, just like this. And you basically, this is what I did pretty much. I like try different, like I had like probably the MIDI going on like this, and I would try different parameters, like for example this one too. So don't forget to click that edit macro map. Here we go. Macro 2, and then there is macro 2. Oh yeah, it's pretty low, my bad. It's because of this. So it's after that you just have to experiment and try different kind of settings. So yeah, just to go through a bit on the preset, it's not that complicated. It's basically the bass here is the saw, but as you can see, I'm not using the oscillators the same way I did before. Before I was using the oscillators going in FM between between like all of them, like this one would go on this one like this, and this one would go on this one. But here I did another way. It's just the basic way, like I didn't FM all of those between those. I sent them on the saturator here, and then on the master, this is the master output. This is like not useful. So I have different waveforms. It's a saw and a soft threshold state, and another saw, which is gonna make some kind of detune effect between those right here. And then this is where the FM is happening. It's the C that's going to the D and the F, and this is the parameter that we automated before. So the cool thing is once you have different macros set it up, you can just change the waveform and see how it sounds. Oh, it's so good. And also you can change the pitch, like the ratio, and see how it sounds, and the macro would still go. And there is also this one. but I don't think I used it. But yeah, you have to be soft on the amount of FM. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Like, let's talk about. Okay, let me just. Like this one. So this is one of the sounds that I did on FMA on Serum. So I use the squelchy right here. You go on spectral, squelchy right here, and then there is the who, which is in. Oh yeah, it's a waveform that I don't have anymore. It's not in the basic waveform of Serum. I think it's from Cymatics. I think so. I'm not sure. But you can probably have the same kind of result with another waveform of with another basic waveform integrated in Serum. So here we have like, so we have, without the effect, we have this, no filter. This is the bass, and then I used a bit of detune to make it more wide, just a little bit with Unition at 3, so that way you have 1 in mono that is clean and 2 in stereo, which is not the same with 2 because you have just 2 in stereo and not anything in mono. So 3, I think 3 is good. You can use even more if you want, but yeah, I did that octave -3 and then OSC B that goes on FM on the A, with a little bit of LFO going on the FM level, wavetable position, and also the filter right here. High notch. Oh yeah, who is right here? My bad. Thanks, James. So here we go, and yeah, this combination of waveform is sick to use. Yeah, you have pretty good results. So you see, I think FM, like Serum is really powerful too, but it's just that I have more fun using FM8 than Serum. And then on the plugins, effects, we have Sniper, we have distortion with diode, we have a phaser, compressor, multiband, AQ here, and this is pretty much it. And again, as always, we have, this is not used, vocoder, utility, OTT, EQ, and the EQ is just gonna cut the basses that we don't want, the evil basses. It's pretty low. Maybe I shouldn't let it low like this, but it depends on the sounds and the sub too. Like the sub here was made in massive, and it's pretty much the same. There is nothing else really particular. It's just a sine with a compressor, but I don't really like. I'm not sure why I did that. I'm not sure if this is really useful, to be honest. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend to do the same thing and add a compressor with a huge ratio on the sub. I wanted to, like, I thought that maybe if I controlled the peak volume of the sub and really limit it, it will help the track sounds better and more clean or something like that. Maybe it's true. I'm not really sure, you know. So yeah, but I used it on that one, and yeah, this is it. So let's talk about the drums here, which are a bit more interesting than the other tracks. There is a bit more work on the drum. I really wanted to do like a big intro with like a lot of different acoustic sample drum, like this rim shot. It took me like a lot of time to find a good rim shot that I like. I did a bit of processing on that one. So this yep. So this is without the processing and with the processing. So you know, it's just a bit of EQing, multiband, and also transient shaper from SPL that I would recommend to use, guys, for anything that you want, because it's always good to have transients and dynamics on the track if you want to sound loud, because the human here is excited by all the dynamics and the transients. So it's always good to add a bit of transients in your drums. This plugin from SPL is amazing, and actually all their plugins are super dope. So yeah, this is pretty much it. More attack, a bit less sustain. Then I have another multiband, but it really adds a little bit of compression. It's not that much. And there's a drum bus with 13% dry wet on the master, on the drums right here. Yeah, I use different kind of rides with a little reverb, and I use some kind of, it's like an this is the expander, you know. I wanted only the high frequencies to be like, to have the tail of the high frequencies. No, the SPL transient designer is not free. It's unfortunately it's not a free plugin, but yeah. So that way the tail of the ride would stay up a bit, just like do the OTT, but way less, because I only use the expander part of the compression on the high frequencies right here, you know. Yeah, some reverb and big fat EQ. We have some ads going on too. I didn't even put an EQ on that one, nothing particular. The kick here. So yeah, we have an EQ, multiband, transient shaper again, and the kick is in mono because I didn't like the stereo feels of the kick. I like when the kick is really mono, so I put it in mono right here. And then, you know, I added a lot of, yeah, this loop cymbals. This helped me to build the rhythmic on the track, on the drums, you know. It's actually like I was looking for ideas, and I saw this loop, and I accidentally duplicated, which made this repetitive effect, and I just kept that idea and added more elements to it to have a more pronounced groove. I would say what's the most important things in your drum is that they have great dynamics, you know, especially in the intro. If you want to do this, because in that intro I wanted to have really acoustic feels on the drum, but not so much. That's why I used a lot of rides and all that. So I would say you gotta be careful with the compression and not compress a lot, but more go slowly, like slightly. So yeah, a little crash here. And yeah, for the drop, I use another ride, and this is another kick I made with a sonic kick, and I added the samples from Gather sample pack just to add a layer on the high. Like this. We have dark China here, which I like to use. Transpire, yeah, I don't know this plugin. So this is pretty much it for the drums. As you can hear, you know, it's really, if I take off the master, the clip max again, clip max, it's really dynamic. Like the sound before going in the master is really dynamic. It doesn't sound compressed, and the global sounds dynamic too. You have to, the master is not here to make the song sound good. It's here to just you know, help the song to be loud, but the pre-master has to be the most cleanest possible. If you're trying to be loud and having difficulties to have a clean sound when it comes to increase the volume of your master, whatever it is, can be a soft clipper or a limiter, that means that you probably have to work a bit on your mix down before, you know, but I'm sure you know that already. What else can I show? Oh, it's all frozen. Those are like, so yeah, as I was saying before, it's for this FX, for example, the original sample was this, and a bit of delay, a bit of compression, a big ass EQ, and stretch like I did. You stretch it out, beam, and you have some kind of down pitch riser. You can do that pretty much out of anything. Stretching is life. And with the texture mode, you can again, you know, tweak the grain size here. Just like this. This is a basic noise from Massive. Basically, oh, we have MIDI here. Yeah, the riser, pretty simple, just two signs that are going detune between each other. One is at 0, the other is at -1, and that is it. Oh yeah, there is a sorry, there's just this insert which is sample and hold. You just have to tweak. It's cool to have this on signs. It brings a bit of harmonics. It's a classic effect that a lot of people have been using in dubstep generally. With just macro going on here, and this is it. It's really, I would recommend you guys to try sometimes. I don't do that all the times, but sometimes try to make some effects from MIDI. It's really fun and cool. It's fun to really take the time to perfect the track and not be in a rush. Like sometimes I would go and say to myself, okay, I gotta wrap this track up and I gotta work fast and all that. But this is definitely not the way to go, because you're gonna miss a lot of, like, there's a lot of details in the track that sometimes you need to take time to just, you know, think about it and try things, and not being in a rush and just wanted to go so quickly in the drop to finish the song quickly and have a lot of songs, you know, I mean, quality over quantity, I would say. So what do we have next? We have a little glitch here. That is, so here is here is the result, and here is the original sample. Oh, there you go. This is a sample. Oh, this is simple. And again, pitch, stretch, texture mode, processing. I used this vinyl distortion here to have this grainy effect. For bass weight, it's them. They contacted me first, actually, so I didn't have to do anything. But I would say if you want to submit anything to bass weight, you should add Brendan Bilota on Facebook, which is the manager of the label. And yeah, I don't know if they have an email submissions, but you should ask Brandon. He's really nice, and I'm sure he'll answer to you. So yeah, if you have any question, this is the time. We're pretty much near the end, guys. I hope you learned something today. Maybe if I can show you some other basses too. Yeah, this one I did it. No, this one is another one. I just need to. So, I like to work a lot of songs at the same times, because sometimes when I'm working on a song, I like to listen to it a lot, and I can be quickly tired of it and lazy by just listening and not really working on it. That is one of my default. Whenever I have like something that is interesting to me in the track, like a good drop that I like, but not a final thing, but a good idea, I would just listen again and again and again until I got tired of it, and I would switch to another track. So that's why I think a lot of producers are struggling to finish their track, is because maybe they listen to it a lot and too much, and they get tired of it. I don't know, but that's what happened for me. So what I do is that I work on a track, and because like when I start a track, sometimes I always have other ideas for other tracks. So even if I started one, I would start another one, and just go full into that one. And when I get tired, then I come back to the first one, because I didn't listen to it for a long time. So now I'm ready to work on it, and I'm inspired. And then I would switch again with another one that I would create. So I have maybe 8 songs right now that I'm working to currently all together at the same times. And whenever I want to work one, I can continue to work on that one and then switch on another one. But I try to really first finish the one that I have before starting other ones. But sometimes I just have a big inspiration for another rhythmic that I didn't create before, so I would just try and start another project. But during the day, basically one track during the day most of the time. I'm really effective when I work a couple of hours on the same track. I need to be productive to have minimum 3 hours free, and then I know that in 3 hours I can be productive at least during the day on one track. Yes, I just use Soft Clipper on the master, and sometimes I like to use ozone compressor and EQ, but just to add a tiny bit of compression on the high peaks of dynamics, and just to remove some frequencies on the side, and then Soft Clipper, and that's just it pretty much. The sidechain, I didn't talk about the sidechain, but the sidechain here is just a trigger. I use Shaper Box right here. So basically is that you use the volume Shaper Box. You have different kind of effect. I use the volume one right here, and what you do is that you set up the MIDI volume LFO to MIDI one shot bit, one shot loop length. It depends on what you want, and basically the trigger here is gonna trigger the sidechain. Whenever this happens, the sidechain works. So I send it here on the Shaper Box right here. I have an audio bus, and this bus I would put in right here, and the I would just send the groups that I want sidechain in this bus right here, and then this is how I would have it. So that's pretty much it. No, I don't use glue compression, but I don't think that's bad to use. I think that's a pretty good plugin to use too. Any tip for how you go about your drop arrangement? Well, basically when I want to make a drop, I start with the drums first. Always the drum first, because that will give the bass on the tracks, like the bass for the next groove that I want. If I have an idea of groove that I want, I would automatically have the idea of the drums that I want on that. So I always like to start with a drum and have a good solid bass drum, then sidechain, and I start to create the sound. So like I said, basically you start with a MIDI, FM8, Serum, whatever. You make sounds, you freeze, you have it in audio. You can also have one MIDI track playing along with a lot of automation of it, and you just try to resampling by recording or freezing again, and then once you have your audio, you process again, you resample again, you cut it again, and yeah, pretty much it. So yeah, this is pretty much it. I don't know how much time I have left. But yeah, let me know if you want to know anything else. One last question maybe. I hope I did help you, and thank you to everyone who came. I hope it was interesting for all of you. I would recommend using FM8 as much as you can. I mean, it's a really cool plugin, but really underrated, I think, but a bit hard, to be honest. Thanks guys. I'm glad you appreciate it. Thanks again for staying with me, and yeah, have a good one.